taking your B2B integration capabilities to the next level through modernization, migrating from a purpose-specific EDI solution to a comprehensive integration suite. Welcome, my name is Scott Hulme. I'm the Vice President of Services, Sourcing, and Software with Remedy Electronic Commerce Group, an IBM Premier Business Partner. With me today is Rod Gifford, Market Segment Manager with IBM. Here's the agenda for today. Rod, if you don't mind, feel free to take it away.
Great, thank you, Scott. So from an agenda standpoint, we're going to talk a little bit about the challenges that IBM's point of view on what customers are facing these days, discuss how you can modernize your B2B integration platform to address those challenges. We'll give you an overview of the capabilities of IBM Sterling B2B Integrator to give you some insight as to how the product can help, or the offering can help address those challenges and modernize your platform. And then I'll turn it back over to Scott, and he's going to talk about mitigating the risk of your migration and how both IBM and Remedy can help. Next slide, please. So let me start by sharing some trends that IBM sees that impacts how companies collaborate with each other. You can see the consumerization of technology and the expectations we as consumers have about how fast I'll receive my order, and how those expectations are changing our business mindset on how responsive business processes have to become. Faster cycle times, for example. Then you have the cloud and the choices you have on how you embrace it. The complexity of doing business as part of a global trading partner community, or maybe you are part of the U.S. healthcare ecosystem and have to deal with all the changing data standards or some other industry mandates depending on the industry you operate in. So a lot of things to consider depending on the nature of your business. Next slide. And you can see that these trends manifested in the pressure the line of business is facing, whether it's lower operational costs, an operational status on exceptions, trying to improve service levels, increasing the number of documents you're electronically exchanging with your trading partner community, obviously security best practice these days, which is very important, or again, the latest data standards that, depending on the nature of your business and industry, that you may have to adhere to. Next slide. Which leads to IT challenges on how to optimize those processes in response. So modernizing your B2B platform, for example, so you have updated capabilities. I also call your attention to one other item on this slide, minimizing downtime to business operations. So think in the context of high availability, B2B integration, and disaster recovery. How do you achieve near zero downtime in the event of a planned or unplanned outage? IBM's offering some differentiating approaches in this area to help our clients achieve that goal. Next slide. And if that wasn't enough, then you have globalization, which leads to additional challenges. This is a survey IBM commissioned, and note that some of the averages regarding the number of protocols, trading partners, and application platforms companies operate. And if you're doing business in Germany, for example, you better be prepared to support a robust use of standards. Next slide. The last slide for this section from the same survey just reinforces how pervasive the use of fax, email, and phone are for critical business processes. And this is 2015, so a lot of opportunities to still modernize. Next slide. So now let's talk about modernizing your B2B platform, which is going to lead me to this next slide on why companies choose not to modernize. So the organization still views B2B integration as just IT infrastructure, or they become complacent with technology. Maybe it's not a priority, so lack of budget, which kind of goes back to the first point about how the organization views B2B integration. If it's just looked at as IT infrastructure, it doesn't always get the priority it should from a budget standpoint. Maybe a perception is too expensive, which I would argue that's not the case anymore, or you believe that they have the necessary capabilities, and I would challenge you to ask, does your business agree with that? So one of the things I've learned talking with customers about their use of B2B integration is that best-in-class ones view it as a competitive differentiator and not just IT infrastructure. Next slide, please. If we look at modernization from an IT perspective, you know the list of points on the left about why to modernize. So it may be due to an outdated technology stack, multiple integration platforms, a lack of capabilities, a desire to leverage new technologies, or a combination of the above. In the middle, I call your attention to some of the drivers behind the need to modernize, and on the right, the value you can get when you do so. So there's a lot of things to consider on this slide on why it makes sense to modernize your B2B platform. Next slide. This slide offers a line of business perspective on the need to modernize. Again, on the left, I call your attention to the reasons why the line of business needs a more modern B2B platform. So whether it's accommodating the demands of a diverse B2B community or the industry that you're in, the inability right now maybe to offer differentiating services because your platform can't accommodate that, a desire to lower operational costs, which never seems to go away. That's always at the forefront of a lot of companies' efforts to look at their B2B platform, the need to improve decision making, or maybe you want to protect, not maybe, you should be protecting your brand from a security breach. As one example, I note the faster cycle times. One of my customers, a logistics service provider, shared how they have to provide a notification 10 minutes in advance to the automotive manufacturer on when the next shipment of steering wheels will arrive on behalf of the LSP's customer, the steering wheel supplier. Now that's a pretty responsive process and needs the right capabilities to enable it. They, by the way, view B2B integration as a competitive differentiator all the way to the boardroom. That's why they're considered best in class. And you can read some of the other content on this slide, but the point is the line of business has a stake in this too. Next slide. Now I'm going to go into the next set of slides, which will give you a sense of the capabilities of the product. And we'll start with this graphic, which shows IBM's overall B2B integration suite and the particular area of focus for this webcast, which is on-premises B2B integration and the transformation and data standards many companies need to leverage. Next slide. This slide gives a summary of the basic capabilities. So community management, the ability to automate, processes both internally and externally, having visibility so you can improve decision making and visibility over those processes, whether they're internal or external, enabling any-to-any data exchanges, being able to transform and comply with data standards or the transformation requirements that you have to integrate data, or enabling an always-on trading partner network. Next slide. So starting with the community management, which is all about onboarding your partners, and there are wizards and reusable templates to help reduce the time. The intent is the faster you can onboard your partner, the faster you can start generating revenue from the relationship. Next slide. This slide is all about data transformation and standards. So being able to support any-to-any data transformation, and if you have extremely complex transformation requirements or a need to comply with the U.S. healthcare or banking industry data standards, for example, then you might want to consider optionally, we have WebSphere Transformation Extender or Standards Processing Engine, which provide a lot of support for those specific industry data standards. Next slide. We also offer a workflow modeler to help automate processes. And while it's one thing to automate a process, how do you accommodate problems or alerts that occur? So one of the features of the product is it lets you take into account considerations, exceptions. Say you have an automated credit check built into a process, and if the credit request exceeds a certain limit, the request is routed to a higher level approval and stops until that occurs or gets rejected. So just an example of the level of sophistication you can get to with the process workflow modeler. Next slide. Visibility, obviously, very important about what's going on. You get some of that inherent in the base B2B integration capabilities, but to the point earlier about consolidating items of automation, you could add Control Center to get greater visibility over all your integration patterns, including both internal and external processes. Next slide. We offer built-in security around the perimeter, but if you want to take it to the next level, You can optionally deploy IBM Secure Proxy, which gets you DMZ-based network security, including multi-factor authentication. And in today's world of security breaches, I'm not sure why a company would not want to deploy DMZ-based security. My last capability slide highlights all the protocols we support out of the box. So it reinforces the notion that you never have to say no to a partner onboarding request because you can't support their technical requirements. And to my earlier point about enabling high availability B2B integration, the B2B Advanced Communications referenced on one of the bullets is a great example of IBM's differentiating capabilities in this area, as we have separated the communications from back-end processing. So if your B2B platform comes down due to a planned or unplanned outage, your customer trading partner communications continue to operate. And in October, we just released high availability mailboxing, which replicates the data between data centers in real time and enables your B2B platform to operate with near zero downtime in the event of a planned or unplanned outage. So something to consider if your business operations and the industry you operate in require 24/7 by 365 availability. The automotive supply chain example I referenced earlier, companies that operate in the U.S. healthcare ecosystem or retailers are some examples that come to mind. Next slide, please. Here's a summary of some of the benefits you can expect to realize by modernizing your B2B platform. So you get market-leading capabilities, you get a transformation industry that enables you to satisfy your industry data standards, you get data and network security best practices, we can help you enable high availability business operations and disaster recovery. As I pointed out a minute ago, you never have to say no to a trading partner's onboarding request because you can't support their technical requirements. And ultimately, a lower cost of IT operations. Next slide. And I end with this comparison slide. Note the column that says Gentran. That's IBM's older EDI translator platform. Probably similar to what many of you might be operating today. It does the basics of EDI integration, but I would argue that's not enough in today's B2B world. And back to my earlier point about why companies resist modernizing and cost being one obstacle, you could start, for example, with our entry-level basic edition, and as your requirements grow and move up to the, you can move up to the standard edition. And to move up, it's just a licensing change. You don't have to redeploy the product. So if you're considering a migration to a more modern platform, my advice is to use this as an opportunity to take a step back and reassess your overall B2B integration requirements relative to your business requirements. So that ends my part of the webcast, and I'll turn it over to Scott from Remedy. Scott?
Thanks, Rod. I appreciate it. Now I'm going to talk about mitigating the risk of your migration and how IBM and Remedy can help. But first, a little bit about Remedy Electronic Commerce Group. Remedy is located in Columbus, Ohio. We're an IBM Premier Business Partner specializing in the IBM Sterling Commerce B2B and MFT products, IBM B2B and MFT software reseller, and a preferred professional services provider revolving around the Sterling Commerce line of products. Remedy has completed thousands of engagements involving the IBM Sterling B2B and MFT line of products, and a number of those have included migrating customers to IBM Sterling B2B Integrator. Remedy has also developed complementary products and services to enhance Sterling B2B Integrator and its capabilities out of the box, like Remedy's framework for Sterling B2B Integrator. Remedy is a regular sponsor of IBM's B2B conferences, like Interconnect, and other EDI and MFT-related conferences like GS1 and NECOM. Remedy's B2B Integrator framework is an IBM capability authorized solution and is in IBM's solution catalog. So just a few points there about Remedy before we move on to how we've assisted customers in migrating from their current EDI translation software to IBM's B2B Integrator. So why do customers migrate to B2B Integrator? While working with customers over the past few years, we've noticed a number of common themes as to why customers are modernizing their environments and migrating to B2B Integrator. Some of these are as follows. Many of them have a change in trading partner requirements that their legacy EDI translation software cannot support. Some customers want better visibility into their data, both from the IT side of the business and also from their different internal business groups. So this allows them to make better decisions and serve their customers more effectively and efficiently. Also, management is always looking to lower cost of ownership by consolidating disparate applications that are cobbled together to achieve various results. And they're also looking to improve automation, support better processes, and increase efficiency to provide a competitive advantage over their competitors. And finally, they want to invest in a robust, flexible tool that allows them to be positioned for the next 10 to 15 years and beyond to account for growth and adapt to changing requirements in their industries. This allows their business and IT groups to work as a team internally to provide the best experience they can to their customers. So that's just a few reasons why customers are migrating to B2B Integrator and what we've experienced over the past few years. So what can companies achieve with B2B Integrator? All of these common themes that we hear from customers can achieve through implementing B2B Integrator as a product. B2B Integrator is a flexible, robust tool that through an implementation architecture can be designed to support the specific requirements of your business. It's a single e-commerce application that can take the place of disparate applications that are joined together to achieve various results that are achieved solely within B2B Integrator. So you can retire multiple applications and replace that with one single application in B2B Integrator to achieve all those results. It allows for full automation of your processes to eliminate manual errors. It also allows for end-to-end document visibility and reporting to allow your IT and business groups and give them the insight that they need to support your customers more efficiently and effectively. And again, it becomes your e-commerce hub that can be leveraged and modified to support shifting B2B requirements for the next 15 years and beyond. So customers are really looking for that next evolution of application that's out there that can be their backbone of their e-commerce environment for years and years to come. So what does Remedy do to enhance the functionality and the benefits of Sterling B2B Integrator out of the box? Well, Remedy's framework, as I said before, it's an IBM capability authorized solution that is technically certified by IBM as a complementary service offering to Sterling B2B Integrator. It is a framework that's implemented in conjunction with Sterling B2B Integrator through an implementation methodology services engagement. So it's not a separate piece of software that requires a separate software purchase or that bolts onto Sterling B2B Integrator as a separate software solution. It's deployed through an architecture, a methodology, and an engagement. It is fully customizable to your company's exact business and technical needs and requirements. So as you can see from the slide here, B2B Integrator out of the box has to be deployed, it has to be implemented, and that's where the Remedy framework comes in. Our 6 to 8 week implementation provides an established architecture, a vetted architecture that's been supported through many, many implementations. It includes hundreds of fully tested framework processes ready for use. It comes with a visibility portal, allows for centralized error repository, and it comes with established standards and best practices. So why do customers choose Remedy's framework for B2B Integrator? It extends and enhances the functionality that is inherent in B2B Integrator. It also eases the use and daily administration of B2B Integrator through its user-friendly interface. And then finally, it allows IT users and business users to collaborate more effectively and efficiently through its visibility and search history portal. As you can see, it also achieves a quicker ROI on the purchase of the software by reducing the implementation phase from what could be a 6 to 9 month process to a 6 to 8 week process. It allows for faster trading partner onboarding and management, streamlines management tasks, allows for configuration of multiple routing maps, and again, gives that end-to-end document visibility and reporting that's so crucial in today's world. And here we have a few slides from a LinkedIn post that was out there on LinkedIn. Some of our framework references that responded to a post out on LinkedIn talking about their experience with the Remedy framework. Finally, a contact us slide. So if you have any questions after the presentation, feel free to contact me directly. Again, Scott Hulme, the VP of Software Services and Sourcing with Remedy. We'd be happy to help out in any way we can. And for Rod and myself, thank you very much for attending.